We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
The Bo Rock Breakdown.
Now, back to our show.
Welcome to the Bo Rock Breakdown.
What's going on?
Got Tommy Guns here on the Bo Rock, and we're here to dissect some all the comings and goings of
Fuckery.
the fuckery of the Philadelphia fucking Eagles.
Yeah. The Philadelphia fuckery. That's what we should change our team name to.
Ugliness. Yeah, we're back from we had a couple week hiatus to I don't know what happened, but we were depressed or what. We just had things going on, Christmas and everything like that. But we are back
Yeah, sadly.
in full
Sadly.
stride, ready to rock and roll. And
I think I've got more to say during this podcast right now than I did all year. And we're well into the playoffs with not even a chance of us being into the playoffs. That's how much fuckery's going on right now in our organization. And with all these idiot Eagle fans.
I don't have any, I have nothing prepared here tonight. This is a no-frills podcast. We're just going to shoot from the hip and just...
Sponsored by Miller Lite, by
Sponsored
the way.
by Miller Lite. Thank you very much.
The original Light Pilsner.
And these beautiful
The
bottles.
throwbacks.
I'm
I'm digging them, dude. I like the throwback label, the can. Back to a simpler time. Back
Only
to a simpler
for a limited time.
Speaking of back to a simpler time, with the throwback bottles, let's just dive right into this with the fucking throwback coach. Do you think he's here because he played for us a little bit? Why is he here?
I'll tell you why.
Here we go. Because I've been wondering.
Andy Reid placed a call to his good old buddy, Jeffrey Lurie, and says, I got this guy. I think he's ready. I think he's ready to be a head coach. I let him call some plays this year, and I think he's ready.
Wait, you don't think he called out and was like, listen, I got this offensive coordinator who his offense has been in 30th place for the last 3 years, and but I think he's ready.
Jeffrey, time's yours.
It sounds to me like Andy Reid was just offloading some shit that he didn't need.
Now, this could be... At first, I was infuriated because you have... For one, I think it was a panic decision that they made here.
Absolutely.
You had an alleged interest to the point where you were about to hire Ben McAdoo. The Giants sweep in, grab their boy. Then they throw desperation left and right. Oh my God, we have to go get somebody. So they go fly down and say hi to Tommy C. And Tommy C says, I'm not interested. And then all of a sudden, Chip Kelly gets signed just like that. So we're like, oh shit, we took a week earlier. We dived into this a week earlier than any other team, and we're sitting here still without a head coach, and the guy we fired is already employed,
I have
re-employed.
some thoughts on that Chip Kelly situation as well.
Then they go, oh, well, we need to make a decision. So let's go get our boy Doug Peterson.
Now,
And I just think it was a whole panic move. Like, at this point, he can't...
why do you think that they were so pressed, though?
Because a number of reasons.
Strictly looks? How they look?
I think they were panicked into making a decision just because they're like, oh, we lost our guy. We don't want to lose another guy. Not that they were going to lose Doug Peterson, because he interviewed for how many teams? And I'll wait. Count them up.
Hold on. Wait. Do you have an appendage that shows the number 0? Because I don't have an appendage that does that.
Nothing. My counter It doesn't have to move.
Dude, high school teams ain't even fucking looking for this dude.
Actually, the last time he was a head coach was in high school. But that's
Which
another story. For
right
another
there
day.
tells you everything you need to know. And listen, I'm not going to hate, or I'm not just hating because he's the new guy, because I remember what we did to Andy Reid and how, when Andy Reid still had hair and all that, how everybody hated him when he was coming to Philadelphia. And, Andy Reid's the greatest thing that ever happened to Phil. And I get all that. This is not the move. And where I stand on this is, yeah, we made a panic move. Yeah, we have a head coach now. But he's not going to be here, and like we talked about, pre-pressing the record button, longer than 2 years. I'll be fucking astonished if he's here longer than 2 years.
I think it's a 2-year window. What I was getting at is, part of the reason on the panic button is, for obvious reasons, they need to get a head coach in place, and especially if you're going to hire a guy like Peterson, who still technically can't be hired until the Chiefs are eliminated from the playoffs in a couple of days. So in that time, he doesn't have time to get his staff together. So, I understand the pressing need in that regard because, you have assistants going left and right, going to these other teams. So I understand from that regard. But you technically can't make a move until at least Sunday or whenever, I forget what day. I think they play Sunday. Oh, no, they play Saturday. I'm sorry. They do play Saturday. So until at the very earliest Saturday, when they lose to the Patriots, you have at least that couple day window to go interview a Mr. Schuler from Carolina or McDermott
Gruden.
or Gruden's not happening.
He's showing interest though. I hear you, but not the point. Not the point.
Pass it.
Yeah.
You know what? Inject. Because you guys are all out of your mind if John Gruden's leaving the booth, making $6 million a year, doing his little sweet 3-day-a-week gig, and leaving all that behind to go be a head coach, putting in 18+ hours a day. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I hear you. Well,
it doesn't make sense whatsoever.
You can make the argument for, and I'm not going to, but you can make the argument for he misses the game, he misses the coaching, he misses the pressure, because some people that go in high pressure situations function better. I've had this in my career as a construction, whatever. We were in a high pressure company where it was go 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 go. I worked with Ian for years, and then I thought I'd wanted nothing more than to be out of it. And I got out of it, and I got my cushy fucking 8-hour-a-day, 9-to-5 job, and I was miserable, bro. However, I'm not going to make that argument for him. But what I am going to say is, if a guy like that shows interest, or even wants to fucking just...
That was all speculation.
Fine, but he didn't deny it.
It came out a couple days later, it was denied.
Nah, he would have taken an interview, bro.
Nah, he doesn't need to. ESPN did its job for him. I'm just telling you, ESPN came out and refuted the report. It was all a fabricated story to get Twitter mentions and likes and retweets.
Sure.
But you're not going to see a guy like Gruden, Billick, Cowher. These guys aren't leaving.
What about McDermott?
Cush. I would love McDermott. I don't see it happening. I think there's got to be a reason why he wasn't interviewed last week. There's got to be a reason.
They say there's some residual hatred left over.
That was my exact next point. I think there's a little bump in the road between him and Howie or whoever that from the last experience.
Can we talk about the huge elephant in the room? Being Howie Roseman?
Yeah, man. Lot of speculation coming around his neck of the woods in regards to coaches don't want to come here because they don't want to deal with him, and I completely agree with that. I've wanted him not just out of the player personnel office. I don't care if he was in the janitor's closet when Chip was here. I wanted him out of the building, gone. But he's Jeff Lurie's right-hand man. So, unfortunately, he's not going anywhere. I want a GM in here who is a football guy.
Who gets it?
Yes.
And I hate that saying, football guy. But It's true.
Like, if there's any way that the Eagles could grab Ozzie Newsome from Baltimore, I mean, that's the type of guy. A guy who knows how to draft.
See, here's the thing. There's a bunch of could moves that the Eagles could make, and they just fucking don't. They just don't. You know? And, I have a little bit of a theory. Do you think, this is my conspiracy theory, do you think that they're choosing Doug Peterson, and with the whole rush about staffing and this and that, because it doesn't matter? Because Lurie and Roseman are going to run this team, and this is Roseman's chance to have a front, so he doesn't have to take all the public flack?
You want to know why it doesn't matter? Because it doesn't matter if Doug Peterson's the coach. It doesn't matter if John Gruden's the coach. It doesn't matter if it's Sean McDermott's the coach. It doesn't matter if Pat Shurmur's the coach. It doesn't matter if Deuce Staley's the coach. All that matters to Jeff Lurie is those dollar bills. Okay? And no matter what, no matter how you look at it, every Sunday, 8 games a year, 10 including the preseason, those seats are going to be filled. They may be empty by halftime, but those tickets, those seats will be paid for. Those licenses will be paid. It doesn't matter if I own a license and I say, screw this, I'm out. I'm dropping these tickets. I'm dropping my license. I'm selling it.
There's 100 other people going to buy it.
There's 1,000 other people. You got that the season ticket waiting list. You got, for every 100 people that want to leave that stadium, there's 1,000 more that want to get in. So no matter how you look at it, no matter what happens to this team, there's still going to be fans in the seats. There are going to be pissed off fans in the seats, but it doesn't matter to him. He's getting paid. So that's the way I look at it. No matter what you do.
So you think that he's just saying, fuck it then? Doesn't matter who we put here because I'm getting paid, so I don't care who's the coach?
Well,
because the question was this. Do you think Peterson's here just to be a yes guy, so Roseman's running the fucking team?
No doubt. Because Peterson's coming in here with no head coaching experience. He doesn't even, like, he has such a lack of experience that Roseman and his jabronis are going to be putting together the staff.
They're going to bully him.
They're putting together the staff. Like, they're right now, as we speak, probably sitting in Howie Roseman's basement in his little house or big house in Wynwood. Okay?
Yeah, ain't nothing little about that house.
And he's sitting there trying to figure out who's going to be on this staff while Doug Peterson's preparing for a playoff game. And then when Doug Peterson loses that playoff game on Saturday, he's going to come to Howie, and Howie's going to be like, I got this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. This is who we're going with. All right?
Yep.
And he's going to be like, okay, and we're going to move on.
So how many years of the Howie Roseman show do we fucking have, man?
Well, according to certain reports, you know how many reports are out there.
Everybody's fucking got a report.
You know, everyone's got a report to bump up their Twitter feed. But they're saying, Lurie says that this is the last straw for Roseman. If he doesn't get it right this time, or this is the last straw, if he doesn't get it right this time, he's out. Front office is getting broken down. So take that with a grain of salt. I won't believe it until I see it.
I'm going to take that with a shot and a shaker of salt. So let's reverse this, okay? Let's reverse this whole conversation. And I want to touch on the firing of Chip Kelly and how I feel about it versus how you feel about it versus how the fans feel
Before you get
it.
into that, and you can segue into this,
yeah.
But for as much as Jeff Lurie came out and said, we fired Chip Kelly a week before the season ended to get a head start and a jump on the competition, you know, I just don't get where
text message before recording.
I really don't. What up, Dubs?
Hold on, we got a giant phone call. It's our man Dubs. Hold on, Dubs, can you hear me?
Yo, Dubs.
Yo.
Dubs, it's Guns and Bo Rock. What's going on? All right, Dubs, good talk. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, that's the typical Giants fan, speechless.
Yeah.
But as I was
He's got
saying,
the Tom Coughlin treatment. He called us and said, "Just kidding."
That's good. That's good. Just kidding.
Be here all week, folks. Tip your waitress.
Setting you up so my squad can get McAdoo. Anyway, but as much as Laurie had this, I'm gonna fire Chip a week before the end of the season to get a head start and a jump on the competition of finding our next coach. This might have been the most unorganized, crazy mess of a coaching search as I've ever seen. Like, I just don't... It's such a mess. Like, it didn't seem like they had a concrete plan going in. Like, the first guy they hired, Adam Gase, or not hired, first guy they interviewed.
Right.
Just like... If that's the first guy you interview, he's got to be high on your list, right?
You would think. I mean, if
So
you're worried about rushing and priority and speed and quick.
He's top on your list, and you don't bring him back for a second interview. Apparently, the interview went well.
For
It was
what?
like 8 hours long.
And they were all 9-hour fucking interviews.
Like-
What do you need to talk to him again for?
Well, there's a second interview. I don't know. That's
Bro,
the way.
if-
That's the role. That's
If
the way
we
it
never
rolls.
met before, all right? If we never met before, get fucking answer it. And fucking Dubs. this asshole.
Pardon the interruption. We got a Giants fan calling. Hi.
Ah, that's better.
What's up?
Oh, man.
Well,
we're
we're recording
recording.
the podcast, hanging out.
What's going on? Why are you going silent when we ask you a question?
Why are you giving us the Coughlin treatment, bro?
I'm not silent. You can't hear me?
No. Why don't you call my phone?
I'll call your phone.
Thank you.
There you go. Peace.
He's.
Second interruption by a Giants fan.
I'm texting him on my phone too. He's just blatantly ignoring it and calling your phone.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus.
But-
He's like one of our second wives. You realize that, right?
but like, I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand the process. And they're going to come out next week whenever they do this interview to announce Doug Peterson's new head coach. They're going to say Doug was our guy all along, and Doug Peterson's going to respond and say, "Gee golly, thanks, Mr. Laurie."
Do you think that they're going to do the press conferences Muppet style? Or do you think they're actually going to let us see Howie Roseman's hand up his ass controlling this now? Yo, real quick, let's segue out of this, because I know Dubs is on some limited time, and I think we finally have him through on the line. Dubs, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's going on, buddy?
Nothing. How you guys doing?
Well, honestly, kid, we've seen some fucking better days here.
Boy, have things taken a turn for the worse in Philtown.
Yeah, well, you know.
Well, it goes with the recurring trend of Philadelphia sports teams.
Jesus.
It's ugly. I did watch the Flyers win last night.
That was
They were on
beautiful.
NBC Sportsnet. It was great.
That was
I loved it.
beautiful.
Yep. Don't get to see many of them except for Hurricanes games, but that one was good.
Finally, a win in Philadelphia. Actually, the Flyers on a roll.
Yeah, they are.
Dubs, normally we'd be sitting here talking some DraftKings
Excuse
or
me.
FanDuel or whatever with you. But, I mean, if it's good with you, Bo Rock, I'd rather skip all that and get Dubs' opinion on what's going on with our coaching situation, especially since it involved two guys from New York.
And I want to know, and I also want to hear his thoughts on his end of the spectrum on the Giants.
Yeah.
Series of events.
I would love it.
Well, where do I start? I'll start with Philly. All right. From an outsider's perspective, I did not think Coughlin would end up accepting that job. The Eagles, they seem to be in disarray. There's something at the top of that organization with Lurie and his man crush with Roseman. It's just not a good situation for someone like Coughlin, who's at the end of the line, 2 or 3 years maybe. By the time that team's winning, he's going to be done.
Well,
It just did not seem like a good fit.
I think their interest in Coughlin was the simple fact that Tommy just wanted to come in and coach. So that's what they were looking for, a guy who they're looking for a guy to just come in and coach. And when Tommy said, "I just want to come here and coach, I don't want nothing to do with the GM or nothing like that," I think that's what intrigued the top of the Eagles organization. That's my opinion.
I also think that Doug Peterson will be a billion times more of a yes man than Tom Coughlin ever would have been.
Well, yeah.
Like, Tom Coughlin will not sit there and yes man and kiss Roseman's ass.
No.
He shouldn't have to.
Lurie's ass, bend over and kiss Lurie's ass while Roseman's about to give it to him. No.
But there's a difference, though. Like, Tommy's got the pedigree. He's got, like, the series of wins
Rings.
and brass to back it up. Whereas Doug Peterson's just breaking in. It's like you're coming into an entry level job and you want to do everything you can to impress.
Yeah, but I feel like even if Coughlin said, "Listen, I don't want to deal with none of the problems, and I just want to coach, and I'll just come here and coach," the second something he didn't like went down, he would open his fucking mouth. That's just the kind of guy he is.
I'm going to translate Tommy C's response on the second interview. He said, this team is really fucked up and I want nothing to do with it. Thank you for the interest, but
And
I'm
that's
out.
exactly, I didn't even hear that he said that. But
No,
that's
well,
exactly my take on it.
What he really said, shorter and sweeter than that, was, "Go fuck your mother." But
And Tom Coughlin knows what people tend to forget the Jacksonville days. When he took an expansion team to 2 AFC championships, that guy,
he was
He's the man.
he was a different man back then, though, Dubs.
he was...
We covered it earlier.
The coach.
Listen,
he was
man.
less of a disciplinarian. He was more of a disciplinarian.
I know that he's like a father figure to all you Giants fans, so I'm not going to step on the man's memory. He did great things, but 3 losing seasons, and we knew it. He was losing it this year. This was his last year. We said this, and the 3 of us talked about this like week 4.
Something like that.
Yeah, he was
You
gone.
guys asked me if he was losing it, and I told you no. I remember that because I was
No,
here
and
for
their season totally reflects that. But moving on, what do you think of the McAdoo getting promoted over on?
Well, that's my second part. With all due respect, you really don't know what you're talking about if you think that's Tom Coughlin's fault. It's Jerry Reese's fault for putting a defense out there that's not good enough to stop Academy Park. That defense...
Yo, don't hate. We won a district title this year, asshole.
No, but literally, that defense had nobody. He let Antrell Roll go. He let Justin Tuck go. He let Chris Canty go. He had Cullen Jenkins playing defensive end. Now, if
So there's no offensive problems this year?
Can't do a thing.
There was no
Anyway,
offensive problems this year?
What? Offensive problems? We were 5th in the league in offense, dude. Are you serious? No, there's not offensive problems.
Okay.
Ben McAdoo is the only coach that I was happy with. To be honest with you, that's the only hire that makes sense because if you hire somebody else to come in there and coach the Giants, McAdoo is gone. They're going to bring in their own offense. They're going to bring in the coordinators they want, and Eli has to go learn a third system in 4 years.
But here's, and I understand all that. But here's, it just seems like they're making Tommy the scapegoat here because you promote McAdoo. You keep Spags, obviously, but it seems like you're keeping most of your staff, and you just kind of move on from Tommy. You might bring in another coordinator, but it just seems like most of the staff is intact.
Dude, it's not the staff. That's my whole thing, and I'm fine with him doing that. I'd rather see Jerry Reese hit the bricks. Jerry Reese is the problem to that team. Other than Beckham, our drafts have been absolutely horrid.
Not as
over
bad as the
past 4
Eagles.
years. They've been hard. They've been bad. They haven't been Giants like back when we were drafting Tuck and Bradshaw and the offensive linemen. I mean, the general manager position is the sole reason why our team was that bad last year. The defense should not have looked like that in a million years, but what are you going to do?
Seems like the NFC just has fucking,
NFC East.
yeah, whatever. The National Fraudulent fucking Conference. We have all these management fucking problems, man. These guys just can't get it together.
I can't understand. I just can't understand the Giants in doing that. Like, Coughlin, to fire... Okay, sorry. He resigned.
Yeah, so did Chip
To
Kelly.
force a man's resignation when Jerry Reese, I mean, everybody, it doesn't matter, Giants fan, New York media, even New York media, who's as tough as anybody on coaches, they even say Jerry Reese is the problem. Why could you not at least keep Coughlin? Because what's McAdoo going to do as head coach that Coughlin won the done in 1 year? You know
Exactly.
What I mean? I don't see the point in it, but if of all the candidates,
Wait.
McAdoo was my
What,
choice.
you guys have a Chip Kelly situation going on? You're only going to give this coach 1 year too? Fuck.
No, but what I'm saying is Coughlon's contract was over
Yeah,
after
one more
next
year.
year. So after next year, he would have rode off into the sunset, and then you promote McAdoo. I don't understand why that happened.
Do you think they were afraid to lose McAdoo this year?
That's a strong possibility.
So
I mean, that's kind of the only possibility, really. Otherwise, why would you tarnish a man's fucking career?
Or you go to McAdoo and say, hey, yo, we'll put a little more money in your pocket, stay here for a year, and the job's yours. You're
wonder-
the heir apparent. Like, that's all you had to do.
I wonder what the relationship between McAdoo and Coughlin was.
No, I think there was a very bad relationship between Reese and Coughlin. And I think Mara and Tish went and sided with Reese.
I think that press conference was great.
Tom Coughlin, man, I'm sorry.
All 18 minutes
of all
of
the
it.
teams I've ever loved, Tom Coughlin is my favorite coach of all time. Like, I mean, the Super Bowls had something to do with it, I guess. But
I guess.
yeah, well, big. But still, Uncle Charlie won a chip. I mean, come on. I haven't met Uncle Charlie.
I hear you. But you
it
know what?
pains me to hear him talk so lovingly about one Philly team and then so lovingly about a Giants team.
But you know what I'm hearing right now? I'm hearing a buzzer. And it sounds like the time is up on Giants talk.
Well, there's that. There's that.
So going forward, I want to get your Eagles' perspective on what you. So you gave us a little bit about what you think Doug Peterson is. Do you think he's the guy from an outside perspective?
I don't think you're going to have a guy until you no longer have a Roseman.
Copy that. Because
I don't
the
think-
reason why I say this, and I'm not really a believer in Doug Peterson, but I am trying to give the guy a chance. Like I've taken a step back and I'm trying to be like, all right, I got to give the guy a chance. I got to, because
I mean,
no one.
he's an Eagles guy.
It's
Eagles
well,
guy.
Oh, come
he's
on.
kind of a Packers guy, but anyway, he's
How many years did he spend in Philly with Andy Reid?
Oh, I thought you were going to go back.
Oh,
to
as a
the
player?
players.
As a player and a coach.
He was
Did he
here, I
spend
think,
any
2
time in
years
the
as a player.
2 years max, maybe 3.
He started a half a season.
He didn't coach there at all?
Towards the end of Andy, he came on as like a quality control assistant on the offense, something like that.
He was the guy that deflated all of our balls.
He was
I
like,
thought he was a coach. I thought
nah,
he was for like 4 or 5 years.
he was only here. He wasn't here that long. I would say 2 years on the staff max. And then he went to KC, was a QB coach, he went right to offense coordinator, I believe. But I'm trying to give the guy a chance because he studied under Brett Favre. He was one of Brett Favre's close friends. You know, Mike Holmgren, Andy Reid. I get all that, but it's one thing to learn under all these guys, and another thing to perform. So I'm trying to give the guy a chance. I just don't believe in the way Eagles management took. I don't believe in the road they took.
He's set up for failure no matter what the fuck he does.
Well,
He
yeah.
is. It's a terrible situation.
Listen, you could have brought Bill Belichick in this year, and he's going to get fucking fired within 2 years. It doesn't matter who you bring in.
Chase Daniel.
They should have never fired Chip Kelly this soon.
No, they shouldn't have.
I agree.
They shouldn't have fired Chip Kelly this soon. And everybody's been getting mad at me for saying this. If a man tells you in 5 years, I could have this team winning a Super Bowl, you don't fire him in fucking 3 because the job's not finished yet. You don't fire him and say, you know what, you went whatever and whatever this year wasn't good enough, you're out of here.
I think it's deeper than that.
I think it's
This
a
is
lot
my
deeper
thing.
than that.
This is my whole opinion on that, and it's shady. It's a pussy move. It's no backbone. They fired Chip Kelly because they made the wrong decision in giving him too much power, and that's a bitch move.
Well, yeah,
That's
that's
what I'm
and I've been saying.
I don't even think that, well, I mean, that's probably why, but I don't think that they gave him too much power.
I think they did.
Here,
Look what he did. He dismantled the team.
well, here's my thing. He said that he was going to dismantle the team, though. Everybody seems to forget what Chip was saying when he came here.
Culture.
We had 2 10-6 seasons with Andy Reid's residual fucking team here, right? 1 playoff berth, 2 10-6 seasons. And then they finally, in his 3rd year, give him control to break down the team, which he said he was going to do because we had a 10-6 team. We didn't have a championship team. And I wish I could pull up the audio. He clearly says in one of his interviews, I'm going to rebuild the fucking team from ground up. It's not just adding on. Pieces don't work like that in his offense. So
I think you had a very good point all through the season, Tommy, when you said they should have kept Kelly, because if you keep Chip Kelly, Colin Kaepernick's not a 49er next year.
100%. Bro, do you remember me and you kind of getting into it a little bit, and you saying Kaepernick was never going to whatever, and then fucking, lo and behold, 4 weeks ago, the Niners are getting ready to release them free and clear with no problem?
That's more my reason why I always said that. Because when I was saying Colin Kaepernick's not going to be an Eagle, is I didn't see that situation in San Francisco with him going the way it did either.
No, definitely not. But listen, back to Chip Kelly. Jeffrey Lurie's the biggest fucking ball bag in history right now, in Philadelphia history, because he hires a coach on the premise of this guy says in 5 years if I give him control, we'll have a Super Bowl team. He doesn't give him control for the first 2 years. We have the same results. 3rd year he gives him control. It's going to be a dive year because everybody knows the first year you reconstruct a team is a dive year, and he fucking fires him the 14th week, 15th week. He doesn't even let him finish out the first season he gives him control over because we didn't produce. How jacked off is that? Now, I don't agree with all of his fucking decisions. It's a total mess. Because whoever comes in here, you're 3 to 5 years away from cleaning it the fuck up and it working again. So you might as well let him try and bail it the fuck out.
I will say this. The offense that Doug Peterson is bringing in is the West Coast. And I think the receivers that we have now, currently in place, are more suited for a West Coast style offense than they were in Chip Kelly's offense.
I agree.
So, in that regard, I think they're better set up for success. It's just, putting all the pieces together, of course.
Better set up for success.
Put players in better positions.
I agree with that sentiment and what you just said, but, for the same reason that they struggled to learn this system, they're going to struggle to go back to the West Coast system. Jordan Matthews, what the fuck? That poor kid, his career's fucking done. He's done. If they change the system completely, like they're going to, he's fucking done.
Well, I mean, it's easier for a receiver. At least it's not your quarterback.
And for the same reason that...
But I don't think Bradford's back.
I hope he's not back.
Well, I mean, what else are you going to have? Well, Bradford's not a bad quarterback. He was a bad quarterback in that system.
Okay,
you don't have that system
I know he's not a bad quarterback, but is he worth $20-25 million a season?
He's not a champion, bro.
Is that really what he's going to get paid next year?
They're saying 25.
Well, if they franchise him, they're saying it's going to be around 21.
They're not going to franchise him.
All right, just to franchise him. And then they're saying that he's asking for a minimum of 18 a season.
So about fumble time, huh? I don't know. What do you guys want?
I want the kid from Ole Miss.
Chase Daniel. Actually,
that's a good name.
Chase Daniel. Yeah, I know. He has like 70 career snaps or something like that.
No, Chase Daniel. I think the kid's a good quarterback.
Well, yeah, he's coming from. Well, the reason I say he's coming from KC, he knows the system. You plug him in for a year. You draft a quarterback. I don't know. Carson Wentz, I don't know. I'll throw that name out there. But, I don't think the quarterback class is great coming out this year.
No, it's not. It's not good at
all. Out of what's coming out this year and what's available now, Bradford's probably one of the better options.
Yeah, but are you going to... But here's my thing.
Not for the money, though. Not for the money, though.
No, definitely not.
But is Sam Bradford going to... If you sign him, you're going to commit to him long term. Okay?
No, I agree with you 100%.
No, I'm just talking. You're going to commit to him long term. Are you going to win? Is this team going to win the next 2 to 3 years?
I don't want to commit to him for another 2 games. That's what
I'm saying.
I wouldn't pay him $25 million. So
I'm at the point now. You're bringing in a new coach. You got a pretty high draft pick this year. We're 13. Probably not going to do good this year. Probably be in the top I'll go top 7 next year. You know,
I mean, you want to worry about your quarterback problems. You've also got a big problem with your position players on offense as far as receivers and running backs go.
well, I
You
mean,
have Murray,
receivers
who
you
do
can
know?
receivers you can fix.
I
Fix
know.
no, I'm serious. You can fix that via free agency this year. No problem.
Yeah, take Ruben Randall, please.
We don't have. I don't think we have a running back
I'll
problem.
go grab Alshon Jeffrey.
That's it. Your running back position's screwed up.
Nah, I just think they were misused.
Not really.
I think they were misused,
I
bro.
think that'll be addressed.
I don't
Actually-
think Sproles is legitimate every down back.
I-
Matthews isn't. And Murray, does he even want to be there anymore? I don't even think he wants to be in Philly anymore, but maybe
Well,
he does.
I
what
honestly,
fucking difference does that make?
I think Sproles is.
Because when someone doesn't want to be somewhere,
I
you're not
honestly,
going to get the best out of them. It's
Should we record this and play it for your employer?
I think that Sproles is a cut candidate. I think
Probably is.
there's a chance that he gets cut.
You think?
I do.
Really?
They have $20 million in cap space. If they're trying to move money, he's a candidate.
Is he making that much money that he's a candidate?
I think he's making around $5 a season.
I don't think that's even enough to cut him for what he produces and brings here, especially in a West Coast setting.
Well, I'm just saying, if you need money to make moves,
If you need money to make moves, who's your most expensive running back you can get rid of?
DeMarco Murray, we got to eat $13 million, I believe.
Yeah, I might be eating that.
So what's the
13
point?
mil.
What's the point?
see the problem?
Clearing up future space. What's the point of trying to fucking make it all happen this year?
Try and trade him.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they are up in the air. So a quarterback without running backs and receivers isn't really going to matter.
Everything right now is up in the air, except for, you know what's not up in the air? Chip Kelly is still an NFL coach. He's on a team with a bunch of fucking picks and a ton of fucking cap room, and they're set up to win. That's what's not broken right now.
Well, you know what? And in a lot of cases,
We fucked up.
no. In a lot
Did
of
Howie Roseman have pictures of Larry snorting coke off strippers' asses or something like that? I want to get back to that.
that's his right hand man.
Yeah, he must be using his right hand or something.
Yeah,
Whatever it is crippling us as an organization, because mark my words, every idiot that wanted to get rid of Chip Kelly, even though I hated some of his fucking moves, is exactly that, a fucking idiot.
Jeff
They're the same idiots that are preaching Super Bowl in the preseason.
Jeff Lurie is singing he needs to be sung a song. And I think it goes a little something like this. I'm blinded by the light. You know?
I don't know what light he's looking at, but
As an
Yeah.
Eagles fan, we're changing the lyrics this year to "I'm blinded by the blight." See what I did there? Let me ask you.
blinded by Roseman's balls.
Let me pose a serious question to you guys, because this came up in conversation with me as a joke with a couple of my other buddies. I know that we can't afford to buy the Eagles out, not even for the $1.3 billion from a lottery. But how do we get ourselves in a Green Bay type of situation here, or any kind of situation where we have some kind of say or control or fucking anything, where our opinions even matter?
They do have focus group meetings.
You want to know how you get your opinion to matter?
I will. Let me tell you what, Roman.
That was a.
If I accidentally got picked for a focus group meeting, the second I opened my mouth, they're going to go, "Yeah, we didn't mean to pick you. We meant the guy next to you."
Well, no, I'm just telling you
I'm
that.
talking about as a fan base.
Yeah.
You get your voices heard by his fan base, people stop paying tickets and going to games.
I already addressed that.
That's
That'll
your voice.
never happen.
No.
Especially when you have a team like the Eagles that have sold out for so many consecutive years, and Lurie is all about the money. Stop selling out that stadium, and I guarantee you he's going to do something to change it.
Before you,
Then why should he?
it's great that you brought that up, because I addressed that before you came on,
Yeah.
and I said that's what Lurie's seeing. It doesn't matter what he does.
Nope.
He can bring in Doug Peterson, Doug Glanville, Dougie Doug. He can bring in whoever he wants.
Shit, teach me how to
And-
Dougie. Think I tagged.
Teach me how to Dougie.
I put him
I know, I
on.
saw it.
Yeah.
But no matter what you do, It all comes back to the paper, the green money. It's all that matters. And for every 100 season ticket holders to say, screw this, I'm out, and drop their season tickets, there's going to be another 1,000 in line ready to grab them. So that it's a revolving door.
I don't know.
I do. There's a waiting list, Dubs.
It's fine.
Yeah,
There's people to wait for years.
Dude, the Eagles fan base, from an outsider looking in, I can see there's guys like you guys, and there's the fair weather fans that when they're in the news, they're loved, someone's going to wear a shirt.
Nah.
And when they're not and they suck, they don't wear it.
That's Philly fans. They're the Philly fans who throw on a fucking Eagles jersey every now and then.
When you start losing and they're not good, people are going to stop coming.
Listen,
Yeah, but they're going to sell their tickets, and there's going to be a person who hasn't been to a game in 5 years, and this person comes up and says, "This team sucks. I'll give you 2 tickets for $50."
I want to take my kid to that game
and go, dude. I'm on a wait list. If my name gets pulled up to grab season tickets, and it's at the position where I can afford it, I will jump all over. I don't care if they're 1-15, 3-13. It doesn't matter. I would grab them tickets in a heartbeat.
And that's why Jeffrey Lurie's never going to care about that.
Well, I know that, but it's just, as a fan, you know, if you have an opportunity to go to the games like that, I'm not going to pass that up.
So, I agree with what both of you are saying, okay, about Jeff Lurie and the money. I'm not...
Oh, no, I'm agreeing with him with the money. I'm just saying from a personal perspective.
I know. I'm not going to negate any of that. So, but what I'm asking you is this, because there's a flaw in that theory. So you guys both honestly believe that until people are selling their fucking seat licenses and selling season tickets aren't selling and nobody buys season tickets, that things aren't going to change here. So you're telling me...
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
That's what's being said. So
no, I'm not saying that.
You're pretty much telling me that Jeff Lurie has no... what's the word I'm looking here? Carrot on a fucking string. Help me out here.
Huh?
What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
I'm at a fucking loss because we're on the radio. Normally my vernacular is incredible. But he has no reason to want to win. There's no reason for him to want to make good decisions, to want to make right decisions.
Nope.
Well, I just think...
So you think that he's sabotaging right now?
No, he's not sabotaging.
Like he's jerking off with Howie Roseman,
but he's
going to
go. He's going to do what he wants to do, not what everyone else wants to do.
I agree, but do you think in his head that
there's no pressure?
Doing the right
there's no
thing?
Pressure.
Do you think he's doing the right thing?
No.
I'm sorry. Do you think he thinks he's doing the right thing? Is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You think he truly believes in his moves?
And that's all.
Yeah, to a point. Yeah.
Okay.
Because no, the reason why I say that is because he gets a call from Andy Reid. Him and Andy Reid are boys. You know, they talk.
Hey guys, hey. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I got to run.
All right, peace out, brother.
All right, dude.
Thanks for talking.
Nice talking to you.
All right,
this
later.
was your best segment all season.
Peace. But, what was I saying?
Talks to Andy Reid.
Yeah, I mean, he talks to Andy Reid. He gets a very nice endorsement from the guy who coached here for 14 seasons and took this team as far as it's gone since, 1980. You know, I mean, he trusts the guy. So if Andy Reid comes to him and says, I really believe that Doug Peterson is ready to be a head coach, Jeff Lurie is going to take that and run.
What do you think he said about McDermott?
I don't think he asked about the McDermott.
You don't even think that came up?
No. Not at all.
So you think he was their guy all along?
It's hard to say, because if he truly is your guy all along, how come in a span of 24 hours after he's been interviewed, after Doug Peterson's been interviewed, in the span of 24 hours, they go from allegedly trying to sign Ben McAdoo to flying to Jacksonville to see Tommy C, and then when all else fails, and then Chip gets hired, all of a sudden it comes out that Doug Peterson's the next coach as soon as his season's completed with the Chiefs. Just the way the sequence of events that happened in that day's time, it just seems like a panic move, and it just seems like that Doug Peterson was their guy sitting right here on the back burner, and if all this fails, if he says no, he says no, he says no, that interview just sucked. Alright, all that sucked. I got Doug Peterson sitting here waiting for
But
him.
why do you think they skipped the rest of everything else and went right to Doug?
Because they panicked.
But what were they panicked about?
Because they see
Because everything
all
you create
these
in the panic scenario, they
because
still can't
at
do with
this
Doug right now.
this moment, the only team without a head coach is the Titans. Okay,
Right.
so Chip Kelly signs with the Niners. Now he's trying to get his staff together. That's what they're panicking about. They're panicking. All right,
They
all
thought
these
Chip Kelly
teams.
was going to take Doug Peterson?
No, their staff.
Listen,
Offense coordinator, defense coordinator, special teams coach,
I know.
linebackers coach.
I know.
You know,
Well, he's
right
an
hand
offensive
man
coordinator.
coach.
I'm
You
just
know,
saying.
but I'm just saying. I think they panicked to the point where we got to get someone signed soon so we can get our staff in place before we lose them. That's what I'm thinking. And McDermott is an afterthought because I'll tell you right now, if they really wanted McDermott, they would have interviewed him when he had a chance, which was last week when they were on a bye.
Listen, your whole theory, though, has a huge hole in it. All right? And the hole is this. A, they can't do shit because of where Peterson's at.
I already brought that up.
So he's not picking the staff, so you think they're picking the staff, and he doesn't matter, right?
Well, I don't think they should have officially announced a hire, and they should have interviewed a couple more guys.
But they
Before
did, so
announcement.
let's stick with what really happened.
Okay,
So you think that who's hiring all the staff?
Roseman.
So Peterson has no control.
Well, I think they'll go. That's beautiful.
Sorry about that. Touche. Touche, Honky.
I think that
Do you think it would have been different for any other coach?
to an extent, yes.
How much of an extent?
Because I think
With the limited time available, how much of an extent?
it depends on the
I don't need you-
situation.
I know, I just need questions answered. I don't need you to go off tangents. I'm leading you to a point.
No.
I'm breadcrumbing you here,
Doug Peterson,
and you know it.
the Doug Peterson situation
And you're not biting,
is
you
different. The Doug Peterson situation is different than another coach's situation.
Sure it is.
So-
Absolutely.
So if they went out and hired Adam Gase, he would have had all the time in the world to put his staff together because you're a little skunky.
Yeah, it smells funky.
Yeah. I haven't drinking anyway. I don't care.
It's not to me.
I just think that if you hire if a guy like Adam Gase gets hired, he has all the time in the world to put his staff together because he's not in the playoffs.
But what's all the time in the world?
He would have been hired a week and a half ago
Okay, but what's all the time in the
because there
world?
was no coaches hired.
So
He was the first coach out of the 7 teams that needed a coach. He was the first coach hired.
Does Chip have anybody staffed yet? Hired?
I don't know.
I mean, is that who we're worried about stealing staff from?
No,
Who are we worried about stealing staff from?
I don't know. But I don't want Brad Childress coming here.
Is it that much of a rush?
It is. You need to get your staff in place so your staff can go to the Senior Bowl to watch all these college kids play and figure out who you want to draft.
I guess what I'm trying to
And then you got to dip into free agency and you need to figure out who you're keeping on your team, who's coming or who's staying, who's going.
I guess
gotta
what
figure all that out.
I'm really getting at is, though, Doug Peterson's not able or available to do any of that right now, right?
That's correct.
So it doesn't really fucking matter who's here as coach. That's what I'm getting at. All the interviews were a fucking fraud. The whole thing was a sham.
But why announce it now?
Because it doesn't fucking matter.
Why announce it?
Why?
Why announce it? I'll go. I don't even know the.
Never mind, sorry.
I don't even know the time frame. But we'll go an hour. Chip Kelly gets hired,
Right.
and then we'll go an hour later. All the Doug Peterson stuff comes out.
I don't know, but it's not a
It's
panic
just-
move. Listen, I hear
it's-
your thought,
it's-
but your thought only works if it's a different coach. Because Peterson's not available to do any of this hiring. So if they're hiring the guys for fucking Peterson, they're doing that anyway. So why rush to announce it?
Why did it come out? Well, nothing,
I don't know.
Nothing,
That's why I'm saying it's not
nothing
panicking.
can be publicly announced from the team until he's out of the playoffs.
Understood. But what you're saying is people are scrambling to get their staff together, correct?
To an extent,
So
yeah.
that's the rush, and that's why you think that they made.
Well, you need to go find a defensive coordinator,
Hold on,
first of all.
We don't need to name off all the pieces you need to find. The people need to piece their staff together, right? Their
Yeah.
coordinators just.
Tampa Bay did it today.
Okay, cool. So what I'm saying is, if you can't announce Doug Peterson, and Doug Peterson isn't the guy looking for the fucking staff anyway, and Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie are doing it, what difference did it make? It didn't. So it couldn't have been a snap fucking judgment. You see what I'm saying?
Well, not really.
It could. Why? How could it have been a snap judgment? If they're putting the staff together anyway.
For him, Doug Peterson's a different case than another coach that came in. If Tom Coughlin came in here to coach, he would have put his staff together.
I just don't see it, man.
Well,
I don't see that being the reason that they rushed. And can this still not happen?
I just said
Can
it's
this
one of
still
the
not
reasons.
happen?
I just said it's one of the reasons.
Do you think Doug Peterson is definitely 100% happening?
Yeah.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
There's no way to back out.
Well, he could back out, sure.
Okay.
I'm sure he can't officially sign anything until he's out of playoffs.
All right.
So he can get wet feet and cold feet or whatever.
Yeah. It's just smoke and mirror thought. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that they wanted the yes guy. I don't think it was ever going to be Tom Coughlin here.
Well, I mean,
Ever. There's no upside there.
Of the four candidates that were announced, or that they officially had interviewed, Deuce, Shermer,
Deuce
Coughlin,
is a waste.
McAdoo. Okay,
What about you?
Deuce was a hey, I'm Jeff Lurie. I'm going to interview you, get your name out there, cover the Rudy Rule while we're at it. I'm serious. It sucks, but that's what he did. And cover the Rudy Rule. Interview Sherman because you have to, pretty
You
much.
want to elaborate that for our uneducated fans what the Rooney Rule is, please?
Rudy Rule is in a coaching search. Each team has to at least interview one minority candidate before they officially announce a hire.
That wasn't to make a jerk off of you. That was
No.
literally to educate people.
No, but it sucks. But teams take advantage of the rule,
Yes.
and I'll publicly state that I think Jeff Lurie took advantage of the rule. So, and it was a perfectly eligible candidate in Hugh Jackson, who they could have interviewed to cover that role, and I would have brought him in as a head coach.
Me too.
You know, there was speculation on that too, that they made a last-minute phone call to him to try and get him in for an interview when he was in Cleveland.
Now, what about the rumors that I'm hearing? I'm sure you heard that other coaches are just telling coaches just straight up not fucking come here. They're the same coaches that are endorsing the shit out of Kelly. Do you think we're going to regret Kelly not being here? Because my personal take on this is in within the next 3 years, San Fran's they're a major contender, if not holding the Super Bowl.
Well, you guys didn't let me finish what I was trying to say. You guys kept jabbering.
You mean two heated Eagles fans and a heated Giants fan? Didn't
Yeah,
let
yeah,
anybody
yeah.
finish the thought?
But you see these guys like, Pete Carroll was a perfect example. Came in here his first run NFL coach and bombed. And I'm not saying Kelly bombed because he didn't bomb, but his first go around was not successful. His second go, and it's a different situation with Carroll because he went back to college and then back to the NFL. But his second stint, as coach, he's successful. So, what my main point is, I think that what Kelly did here was pretty much a learning experience, and everything he did here that wasn't successful, he's going to carry over to his next job, which is San Francisco, and correct those things.
Now, the only real complaints about Kelly were play calling, and he's not personable. What else is there?
Not personable. the play calling, and I don't want to sound like a coach, but if you don't have the right players in position,
Thank you.
then you can't. But you can't be successful.
No.
And it's part of it.
I can't even believe that all just came out of your mouth at once.
That's partly his problem, though, because he put the team together. Now, he had to. There's things he didn't do. Macklin walked. Okay, he didn't replace Macklin. I think that was one of his biggest downfalls. Two of his biggest downfalls on that offense from last year to this year. One, letting Evan Mathis walk, okay? Because you never replaced that guard position. That dude was Pro Football Focus #1 rated guard in the game last year, okay? He's playing this weekend, by the way.
Yeah,
so losing him,
Macklin would
losing him is huge. He's not officially ruled out yet, Mac, but I think he will be. But not replacing Macklin's talent, it's you got to replace that. And I saw Macklin. If he, the minute he entered free agency, I knew he was gone. I knew exactly where he was going.
Of course you did.
Cause it all makes sense. It's like a storybook ending.
Let me kick this to you, okay? Because here are my thoughts. Now, I disagree with firing Chip.
I do.
Can't state that enough.
I agree.
I think we made a huge fucking mistake, and I think that I don't think we would have been his original 5-year plan, but I think from this year out, the next 4 to 5 years, we would have been a Super Bowl contender.
I would have given him next season.
I don't even think that was enough, but I think you would have seen
I know.
I think you would have seen enough correction between this season and next season that you would have given him another one after.
Well, I would need to be in the playoffs next year.
Do you think it was possible?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think that 4 to 5 years down the road from today, from the beginning of the season, 4 to 5 years down the road, we're Super Bowl contender if he would have stayed here?
He would have to keep his ego in check, but yeah.
His ego don't fucking matter to me.
It does.
Not that much.
With play calling, sure does. He thinks he's smart. There's times when
he didn't adjust to Bradford.
He thinks I'm going to run this. You saw it in the run game. I'm going to run this and run this and run this because I think it's going to work. But the defense is obviously picking up on it, and he's going to be like, I'm going to run it again because I know this play's going to work. Like it's stuff like that. Like
first year, complete control of the team. He makes corrections.
That's why I say he gets next year, and that's it.
Do you think he would have made enough difference next year to stay another year?
I would hope so.
I would almost bet my life on it.
I wouldn't go that far.
I'm not confident. I think he's going to have the Super Bowl in San Francisco. And I think as Philadelphia fans, we're all going to be sick.
Well, that's the way it happens.
And I wish that I had enough time or gave a fuck enough about these idiots to follow everybody who ever hashtag fire Chip Kelly and go, I told you so. Because it's going to happen. Bradford was a panic decision, which, given the nature of our office, I'm not so sure that was 100% a Kelly panic decision anymore.
Well, I think Chip realized it. I think Chip realized that Foles wasn't the guy, and he needed to find a way to replace him. So he was scrambling to find a way to replace him.
He took a chance.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was or wasn't doing the Mariota thing, but what I can guarantee you is this. If you go back, I'm on tape, dated, saying everything that I've been saying that's come true so far. Kaepernick was going to get released, which I'm not sure he's going to get released anymore. And if he does, I hope he comes here.
We'll find out.
We'll
find out how bad Chip Kelly wanted Colin Kaepernick in the next few months.
Maybe. Because there's a huge variable. It's a different team now. It's a different setup over there. It's not necessarily a different setup. They were running a different offense. It's not different personnel. It's not different personnel. Yeah, it's different personnel.
Nah.
What do you mean?
Not from 2 years ago.
From what Chip had to what he's going to is what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the.
No,
I thought you were talking about the Niners.
No, it's not that different. No, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't think what happens to Kaepernick and Chip in San Francisco right now says anything. But here's what I'm getting at. If Chip Kelly was here for the next 4 years, okay? Cap comes here this year, which I seen coming all fucking year. I don't know why anybody else didn't see that. San Fran wipes their hands of him, releases him. Don't worry about the money, buddy. You're good. He comes to Philadelphia.
Well, no, that's the way the contract was structured.
I thought they were going to have to pay him.
Nah, it's 2 years. It was basically a 2-year contract.
I thought that there was something
Look it
there
up.
about having to pay.
Look it up.
Whatever. We can pull that up afterwards. So he's going to come here, all right? And then who better for this system to be your stopgap? I don't think Kaepernick was the solution. Kaepernick's not our Tom Brady. I'm not saying he is. However, Kaepernick was beyond good enough to do what
They don't
function.
belong in the same stadium.
Agreed. Kaepernick is beyond good enough to do what we need done here and function and make our offense productive. He's smart enough, he's mobile enough, and he's accurate enough to make all that fucking happen. Despite the last however much time since they fucked him and changed the offense over there. Would have been perfect time to bring up our next quarterback. There's a couple of them coming up that would have been great to be under Kaepernick to study and fucking learn. 5 years we're a dynasty.
I wouldn't go that far.
5 years we're a dynasty.
Dynasty?
The beginning of a dynasty.
It's a big word.
It's not that big.
That's a big word.
It's 3 syllables. It's a stretch for this fucking podcast. But, yeah, I mean, it's all laid out there. We hit a struggle point, dude, and we fucking choked up and we got rid of him. For no fucking reason. The dumbest move that the Philadelphia Eagles have made in the last 10 years, arguably, was getting rid of Chip Kelly. And the way we did. The man didn't say he was going to fix the problems this year. He set a 5-year fucking plan. And if you buy into that, this is why Lurie's the asshole. Nobody addresses this. Jeff Lurie hires him 3 years ago, right? And the man says, in 5 years, I'll turn your team into a Super Bowl team. Okay, here's my team. Now, Lurie doesn't give him the team. So he holds him back for 2 years. The 3rd year, he finally gives him the reins and then fucking fires him. Look, if a man comes to your house and comes to paint your house and says, listen, don't disturb me. I'll have your house painted in 5 days. And it'll be perfect. Just don't bother me for 5 days and I'll paint your house and it'll be perfect. And I say, okay. And on the 3rd day, after watching him for 2 days, I walk away and come back and my house still isn't done. And I fire him before fucking lunch. Who's the asshole? Me. If you're going to buy into the dude when he says, this is what I'm here to do, then you got to believe in him and go all the way through. You have to have follow through.
Well, I really think that
because we're going to have the same fucking problem with Peterson.
I think it was more than just Chip Kelly to coach.
Can I do my conspiracy theory now?
Well, hold on. I think it was more than just Chip Kelly to coach. I really believe that, and it was rumored that he was talking to a few of the players and getting their opinions on Chip. And after he was canned, a couple players came forward front and center and were very vocal.
Well, they were vocal during the year. They made they do what players do to show how they feel about a coach.
But you know, I think that had a big factor in his decision. He's like, these players aren't happy. He felt kind of like I don't want to do the comparison, but
you're tugging on my heartstrings here with Jeffrey Lurie.
2004-2005 situation with Donovan and T.O. with the locker room split.
And that was a bad decision he made there.
I think that I think that the locker room was kind of split on how they felt about Chip. Half of the guys were buying into the system and they were fighting their ass every week. They were drinking their smoothies, going to bed at 9 o'clock at night, sleeping 10 hours, doing all the things that, you know, Chip wanted to do with sports science and everything like that. And then you had the other half on this side who were like, I don't like smoothies. You know, I like staying up late.
The cancers.
Yeah. So
the problem's in your locker room, then not your coach.
No, it stems from the coach.
No.
If
you hire a coach, you hire a boss.
Yeah, but there's players buying in. There's players not buying
The
in.
problem is the players not buying in. Well, I mean,
You can't get rid of all those players that are not buying in.
not in one move, but look how many he got rid of. Look how many he
but-
started to get rid of.
Look what that did.
What?
A lot.
You're starting to restructure a team, though, dude. You're starting to rebuild the team. You're taking a team that was only good enough to get you 10-6 because you don't believe
And you
that's
turned
the
it into
way.
7-9.
Andy Reid had a fucking a 5-12 season. We've let that ride. How many bad seasons? did
Because he went to the NFC Championship game the next year.
Oh, dude, we didn't even give Chip to the next year to find out what he would have done.
But Andy didn't have control then. He didn't have control then.
Who did?
It was his second season.
Who did?
I forget who the GM was. But it was his second season.
Dude, it's incomparable. Those two people. It really
No, they're
is.
not, really.
Yeah.
Nah.
Chip Kelly would have done amazing things here.
But you're giving him too much time.
You didn't give him enough.
I'm not saying... I fully agree with you in saying that he shouldn't be fired. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But I think, like, you're 7-9 this year. If next year they come out and they're 7-9 again, gotta go, bro.
What if,
You gotta
what if
see-
next year they come out
When
and
you
they're
go
10-6?
10-6, and then 7-9 and 7-9, there's a problem.
You hold them accountable for the first two 10-6s?
Well, I can say that was Andy's team.
So do you hold Chip accountable? Because it's unfair to do both.
Well,
It's
then he's
either-
not
they're either-
responsible for them.
they're either-
That he doesn't get credit for the first two 10-6s.
Absolutely.
So he's okay. So he's 7-9, 2 years back to back.
1 year.
I said hypothetically he goes 7-9 next year.
Okay.
It's awful.
It's not going to happen, though. It's not.
You
What
gotta
was,
see
it's
an
not what was
improvement.
going to happen.
You got to see an improvement.
There was going to be an
Okay, what
improvement.
if he goes 5-11?
What if he didn't have fucking cock and balls? Then he's a female and he's a cheerleader.
We don't know what would happen.
Then we can talk about firing him.
Hypothetical.
Then we can talk about firing him. Then we can talk about he's gone. Then we can talk about, hey, you know, I gave you X amount of time and he's gone. But it's his second year. So if we're saying that with Andy's team he was 10-6 and he don't get credit for the wins because everybody wants to say it's Andy's team, fine.
Well, I'm just saying it was the remnants of
No, no.
Andy's players, and I give him credit
I
because he
agree.
turned that what were they 4-12?
Yeah.
Turned that 4-12 team into a 10-6 team. I give him all the credit in the world there.
Okay.
But I'm just doing hypotheticals here with if it's Andy's team or whatever. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
And I'm with you. But I'm saying if that was Andy's team, we don't credit Chip for the fucking wins, then we damn sure can't hold that accountable as they were 2 years of his coaching career.
But if he digresses, okay, so if he goes 7-9 this year,
He wouldn't have though, and you know that, and I know that.
well,
He would have improved from
it would
7-9.
depend. I'm just saying. All my sole point is that I want to see improvement from year to year.
Right. I'm
Okay.
not negating anything.
And I think that
Listen.
Laurie saw, in his eyes, he saw a trend that was trending down, not from just himself, but from people all around. He likes a player's coach. Chip's not a player's coach. Chip's a chip coach. You know? I just think that's what happened. I think that he thought that locker room was getting cancerous with a little bit of a split.
Yeah, and I think he went the wrong way on that, just like he did with the T.O. McNabb thing you brought up.
Well, he likes a nice, happy Andy Reid family type of locker room. I'm just telling you
He
what.
likes 10-6 with no ring. He likes 10-6 with no ring
Yeah, but
because that's what you get.
he's also the most successful coach in Eagles history too. So
Doesn't matter.
it
It doesn't matter. It matters as much as the fucking Buffalo Bills and their Super Bowl rings. Oh, wait a minute.
I agree.
You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. Listen, I said it about McNabb. I don't give a fuck about his numbers. He's a fucking bum. Hated him when he was here. Okay? Wasn't Andy Reid's biggest fan. He did very well here for the time that he was here. He was here way too long. Him and McNabb were here too long. McNabb should have been gone, and T.O. should have stayed. I don't give a fuck if you buy Packer Park and put T.O. in Packer Park. When you have a player that produces at that level with broken fucking bones, You don't get rid of him. He's not your problem. You facilitate that.
No, I
He was
agree.
crazier than 10 motherfuckers. But guess what you have to be in this game? You have to be ego. If you don't have ego, you're getting eaten the fuck alive. You know what I mean? Let him be the fucking...
Nah, his problem...
make his house full of glass and let him be on
His
display.
problem wasn't so much ego, it was his social... Like, he had some social issues.
Yeah,
He
100%.
had social issues, and that it stems back to when he was a child. But
I don't give a
You
fuck.
exactly. You have to have someone come in and help him with that shit.
Sure.
You know, I mean,
Sure
you gotta
you
do whatever you can. That's a hell of a talent.
Sure you do.
He could probably step back on the field right now, and he would be the Eagles' number one receiver. No question.
He can step back on the field. A lot of teams right now be a number one
Oh, yeah.
receiver. I guarantee you, if he stepped back on the field, he would be top 10 fantasy receiver. At least.
I think he's eligible for Hall of Fame this year. You know what the funny thing is? Well, not funny, but the terrible thing is that he won't get voted in because half the media fucking despises him.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't. It shouldn't. What his social
Awkward.
his social inadequacies
Good word.
shouldn't. Thank you.
Yeah.
Shouldn't affect his Hall of Fame status.
Heard that.
You know.
5-syllable
should-
word here on the Bell Rock Breakdown, by the way.
Thank you. You're counting syllables.
You
Good
know.
job by you.
Use my fingers.
That's what. I don't know.
Kelly's a champion. Kelly's going to be a champion. In my perfect world, bro, you know, I'm going to end it with this. I am not hiring you because I think you're a swell guy.
Well, fuck you too.
I'm not hiring you because I think you're cute. I'm saying you are cute and a swell guy. I'm not hiring you because I appreciate the way that you dress and the throwback Eagles gear that you rock. I'm not hiring you for any of that. I'm hiring you to be a coach. So if your coaching is working, that's good enough for me and I'm going to support that. And if I don't support that, then I'm the jerk off. Because I originally signed you to support that. The second I don't support you anymore, I'm the problem. Alright? So Jeff Lurie is the problem. We all have known that. Howie Roseman's the real problem. Jeff Lurie's the cock, Howie Roseman's the fucking herpes on it.
I think it's time to take Howie out behind the barn.
Yeah, it's old Yeller time, babe.
Yeah, old Yeller time.
It really is. Like, he's still hanging on the 2013 fucking draft. And that shit's just, it's got to go, man. It's got to go.
I'm curious to see how this year's draft goes.
You want me to tell you how it's going to go? I'll tell you how it's going to go. It's going to go great.
Marcus Smith Jr.?
You know why it's going to go great?
Why?
Because that's what we get as Eagle fans. Because if this draft goes great, Howie is now fucking cemented here as long as Lurie's here.
He's going to draft a franchise quarterback.
I'll tell you what. Here, listen to this. Hear me now. All right, I'm going to put this in the comments to make sure that people get this, and we're going to share this. I have 2 dogs. Just got married legally. We're getting married in Jamaica in June. Okay.
Make a mine.
I have my precious baby girl turned a year old on Christmas Day.
Happy birthday.
All right. I will give all that up, and I will fucking take Howie Roseman out myself if we hit 10,000 likes, 10,000 views on our podcast. I'll give it all up. I'll drive my Acura SUV right through fucking Howie Roseman's car at 80 miles an hour. Because I love Philadelphia and I love the Eagles that much.
Just at 80?
That's all I need. I'm 325 pounds, bro. Multiply the fucking force in that car rack. If the car don't get him, me coming like a fucking cannonball
He's
through
130 soaking wet.
Yeah.
Like 5'2".
God. I would rape him to death.
Who's taller, Kevin Hart or Howie Roseman?
I don't know. I got my money on Kevin Hart. So that's all I got. I'm frustrated.
I'm
Fuck Doug
frustrated, too.
Peterson. I hope he does well, but fuck Doug Peterson. Fuck Jeff Lurie. Fuck Howie Roseman.
I can't say fuck Doug Peterson yet. I gotta give the
and-
guy a chance. I'm not incredibly excited about the G golly man himself,
Nah.
but I gotta give the guy a chance, and
One last thing, Chip.
I'm very interested in seeing how this team is put together in the offseason. That is one thing that I am very much looking forward to, because I want to see what Mr. Roseman puts together.
I think I nailed it when we were talking doing the intro. Philadelphia fuckery.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm sick of it.
I think Roseman is so anti-Chip, he's going to try and undo everything Chip has been trying to do. Which is fine, but not for us, not now. It's not what needs to happen. And I got news for you. Roseman better start putting in fucking applications now if Jeff Lurie really said that. Because, like I said earlier, you could bring in Belichick right now, and it wouldn't fucking matter. We are 5 years away, no matter what, no matter who's coach, no matter who's fucking GM.
Why are
none
we
of
5
that.
years away?
How are we not?
If we had Chip, would we be 5 years away?
No.
This is Chip's team, though.
Are we bringing in a guy who's going to continue running Chip's team?
No, I'm just asking a question.
And there's
If
your answer.
If Chip was running his team, we're still 5 years away?
No. 3 max.
All right.
3 max. Because of the decisions and moves that he would make going forward.
Am I going to have to get you a San Francisco 49ers jersey?
You notice what color shirt I'm wearing? I've already got one.
Actually, it's more of like Cleveland Browns colors.
It's an orange.
Are you wearing that because we're now the Philadelphia Browns?
Oh, God. I feel like we've always been, and maybe now we're just realizing it. Johnny Manziel's available, however.
Yeah, apparently. RG3's available.
Jesus. Them two are going to look like Lady and the Tramps, both starting a line of fucking cocaine and ending up in the middle together. What a waste, man.
That's going to happen on Dallas practice field. That's what's going to have the Coke race. Fastest person they're going to start on each sideline on the 50. They're going to come into the logo.
Here goes another interesting little fact. J.J. Watt's available next year.
He ain't going anywhere. Ironically, though, there was a picture of him holding up a Flyers jersey with his name on it with Ronnie Hextall.
I'm aware. You don't think he's going anywhere?
Nah.
Why not? Do you think he won't go anywhere or can't go anywhere?
I think he won't go anywhere.
Yeah?
I think that team's on the rise, actually.
Okay.
Bill O'Brien took that. Now, granted, it was a weak division this year, but he took that team to the playoffs with 4 quarterbacks.
So aside from a quarterback, what else do they need?
Apparently, they're going to need a running back because they're cutting Arian Foster. I think their defense is on the rise. I think they do need a middle linebacker, but I think it's a team on the rise. It's a team. I'm not saying that they're Super Bowl bound.
No.
But I think they're.
It's amazing how similar their situation is to ours, and how we're on the decline and they're on the incline now.
Yeah, their team's more well put together.
I agree. They gel, at least. So.
But you know what though, as much as J.J. Watt is a supreme player and a high caliber player, he's never going to single handedly carry them to a Super Bowl or on any team that he's on.
Who does?
You know, so if they have the opportunity to move that guy, if the Cleveland Browns offer 3 first-round picks or 2 firsts and a third or something like that for J.J. Watt, I would trade him in a heartbeat.
Sure.
You know?
Sell high, babe.
Yeah.
Sell high. I'm just saying, if he's available and they got to make him some kind of an offer, right?
So
where he's at in his career, he can play where he wants. That's what I'm saying.
But just from an Eagles perspective, you're gonna have to lock up Fletcher Cox.
I'm not saying I think he comes here.
Oh, okay, all right.
No, I'm just saying it's
anywhere.
interesting that he's fucking going to be available.
Oh, I think they lock him up before he even hits the market.
You think?
I thought they did lock him up. I thought he just signed like a 5-year, $100 million deal.
Maybe I missed it.
Because I remember something coming out. He's like, I just signed a $100 million deal. I bought a house in the mountains and I bought a pickup truck and that was it, or something like that. It was
That sounds very J.J. Wattish.
Yeah, it was like something very simple. Like no like big mansion. It was like a cabin in the woods. You know what I mean? So, oh well. Wrap this up.
Yeah. 100 million contract. No, that was 2014.
Okay.
Hold on.
How many years?
I'm looking. I'm looking. ESPN.com.
Yeah, ESPN. Know all and tell all of the world. Speaking of ESPN,
Yeah.
terrible news today about Chris Mortensen.
Yeah.
So send my wishes to him. He's been like class act, great reporter, great analyst on ESPN. So definitely wish him, best of luck in his recovery from throat cancer. So, all right, screw JJ Watt. Let's wrap it up.
You got it.
So I guess we'll be in touch. Before we wrap it up, I want to hear some predictions from you.
On.
Let's go tomorrow's games.
Hold on a second now.
All right, well, we don't have to do tomorrow's games. We'll just do the 4 games.
All right.
I'll go.
Kansas City loses.
So you got the Patriots and then Broncos Steelers.
I don't think the Patriots is going to be a blowout.
Okay.
I think the Steelers are going to be everybody's surprise. I think the Steelers are going to fucking win.
Without Antonio Brown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got Steelers, Patriots, AFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Who wins?
Patriots.
Patriots in the Super Bowl again.
Yeah.
All right. Shifting gears to the
Seattle, Carolina.
National Fraudulent Conference, as you put it together. So you have Seattle, Carolina.
I think that's going to be probably the money game to watch. That
game's that's going to be the best game of the weekend.
100%. I'm giving it to Seattle.
Okay.
But, man, it doesn't hurt me to say that out loud.
Seattle, and then Arizona, and Green Bay.
I think Green Bay goes down, man. I don't think Green Bay's pulling it together.
So the battle of the NFC West.
Arizona, Seattle.
Arizona, Seattle.
I
Who
think
you got
Arizona beats Seattle.
in Arizona? So we got the Arizona Cardinals and the New England Patriots. Super Bowl 50.
And I think Arizona can win it.
And the Arizona Cardinals are your Super Bowl 50 champions.
I think it's plausible.
Okay.
I got to see how they play this week.
Okay.
But I think it's plausible. I know you don't agree with probably any of what I just said.
I didn't say that.
Well, you got a smirk on your face that says that
No,
for
no,
you.
no, not at all.
Come on, let me hear it.
All right, so I got the Patriots
Okay.
over the Chiefs. I think they win by 14.
Okay.
I think the Broncos beat the Steelers. With a broken down Ben Roethlisberger.
Is Peyton
He's
playing?
with a broken down Ben Roethlisberger. No Antonio Brown, no Bell, no D'Angelo Williams. I just think their offense is what has carried them, and Ben doesn't play well away to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
I just think all those factors included, and the fact that their defense isn't really that great. I just think, and being in Denver, I just think that Denver has too much. Once again, it gets handed to Peyton on a silver platter, but I think that Denver pulls it out. So you got the Denver Broncos and the New England Patriots.
That was my Peyton impression.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And as much as it... I don't know where I'm going with this one.
Really?
I'm going to leave that alone for a minute.
Really?
I'm going to leave that alone for a minute. I'm going to shift to the NFC.
Where would you put the spread on that game?
What, Denver, New England?
Yeah. Where would you cap that?
Games in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I would go 3.
To who?
I'll do. It would be I don't think. I think that
No spread.
no spread. New England gets to 3. Gets 3 points just for being an away team. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I disagree with that, but go ahead. Go ahead, keep going.
Seattle, Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough one, man.
It's the toughest game to call, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going Seattle strictly because I drafted Russell Wilson in my post my post fantasy. Are you in a post season fantasy?
Nah.
I should have fucking called you and got you. I got you a team.
I'm doing the DraftKings thing, you know.
I could have got you a team for $50.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, next year.
I just would have won anyway. So.
Yeah, you're right.
Seattle, Carolina. I'm gonna go Arizona to the Arizona game first.
All right.
This is going to be my toss-up game.
Okay.
I really think, for some reason, in the back of my head, and I don't know why, I got Green Bay in this game.
Yeah?
For some reason, I don't know why, I think that's the upset of the weekend.
I think Carolina beating Seattle will be the upset, but
It's not an upset. How's that an upset?
I don't think anybody believes in Carolina at all.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's my upset, and I'm going to take Carolina in the other game. But it's going to be the game of the weekend. I'm talking possible overtime heroics. You know, maybe like a camera, like 60 yards to the house in overtime. You know,
I'll tell you where I would put my money on that game, though. I would put my money in Green Bay.
what are they getting 10,
7.
7? I just have a feeling about Green Bay for some odd reason. I don't know why.
I've known you long enough to trust your crazy fucking feelings. You want me to call my guy?
No.
Put a little action on it?
No. I don't do that.
Come on, what about the minivan?
Oh, I'll never hear the end of that one. So you gotta walk to work on Monday.
Ugh.
Oh, that's right. She's off. So she's good. So I have Green Bay versus Carolina, and I got Carolina going to the Super Bowl
Okay.
against. It'll be so wrong in my prediction.
Do you think
gonna
it's
be hilarious.
Carolina? Or you got Carolina, Denver, Super Bowl.
I sure do.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
And the only reason why I'm saying
I'm
this
glad we don't drug test for this fucking job.
because it's the supreme storybook ending. Denver wins the Super Bowl and Peyton rides off into the sunset.
That hasn't been able to happen for years.
That's why it's Super Bowl 50, brother.
Bro.
I know I'm going to be completely wrong on every prediction except the Green Bay one, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just having a little fun.
All right.
Don't bet on my picks because they're probably all wrong.
I win either way, actually, if I bet on your picks. It's a win for me no matter what.
All right, have at it.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. Well,
We'll be talking next week when I'm minus 4 fucking teeth and have a broken arm. Gambling on the Bo Rocks picks.
yeah, don't do that. But all right, guys, it's been real. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.